And welcome back to Metropol Sports Center. My name is Nashon Owano. As I had promised you in the first part of the show, I was going to be joined by our regular analyst, that is Ronald Okoth, on the show. Ronald, always nice having you on the show. Thank you so much for finding time to come here to Metropol Sports Center. Probably for those people who do not know, from the last time that you're here, you're currently the coach of Emerging Stars team that is based in Westlands. Maybe you can talk to us about just briefly about what Emerging Stars is about, and what are some of the activities that you probably have been engaged in.
Yeah, once again, it's a pleasure to be joining you back again in the studio, and just thanks. It's a pleasure to be here once again. Emerging Stars definitely is one of the elite academies that we are trying to form in the country. I think if you look at the team in general, we have a very qualified staff led by our boss, Madam Christine, and then also the coaching staff, Stephen Ochola, former national team, Betty Achieng, also former national team. We have Coach Mary, also the former national team head coach. It's quite a huge team, and we're just trying to improve our local football in terms of trying to offer some quality coaching, offer some quality, holistic approach in terms of playing football, not just football alone, but teaching them life skills. And above all, our end-term goal is definitely to try and, push some of these kids to try and go professional. And hopefully we'll be achieving that soon.
Okay. Ronald, I will be basically interested in understanding how is life after retirement. I'm used to seeing you donning, so I was used to seeing you donning the Sofapaka colors. Right now you're on the other side of the bench, and you understand people are usually critical of the technical bench and the coaches. Do you feel the kitchen is much more hotter at that particular point?
Yeah, sure, without a doubt. It's the seat is actually so hot because while playing, we never got we never got the opportunity to feel how the coaches feel. There's a lot of pressure because the whole team depends on the coach. If at all the coach doesn't give the team the necessary drills to perform and to the players to be at their optimum best, I think what follows next is of course you're leaving your job. But having said that, I think it's one of the most beautiful jobs because I'm lucky I'm still involved in football at another perspective. I'm still doing what I love, and just working with the Emerging Stars and also Arrow Sports Soccer Academy in the same capacity, to me is quite a huge blessing, because now I have an opportunity to try and share my knowledge, share my experience with this next generation of athletes who are actually so ambitious, and just looking forward to maybe hopefully walk in the same path that we walked, or maybe even do better than us.
Okay. Ronald, the last time you were on the pitch as a player, the Kenya Premier League did not have a new trophy. Right now, they have a new trophy, and estimates are going that it's costing 5 million. Very quickly, I wanted to get your take on what you think about the trophy. I don't know whether you're now wishing to go back as a player to maybe have an opportunity to hold the trophy.
Quite a huge topic, especially in the social streets currently. And well, according to me, it's quite a beautiful trophy. A lot has been said about the trophy itself, but to me, I think it's one of the best trophies I've ever seen, because we must do things in our own way. We shouldn't do things the way other guys are doing. We're being told, oh, you should have gotten such a trophy, such a trophy. But to me, I think kudos to the federation for going out of their ways to try and bring quite a trophy that is worth it. And to me, again, the price, or maybe the amount that has been used in terms of purchasing, in terms of designing this trophy itself, probably shows you how worth it is. And this is just one of the few steps that we are making as a local league to try and being a lucrative league, because we cannot do everything at once. Rome wasn't built in a day, and just having a new trophy, having a new look trophy, which probably will try and push clubs to invest in good players, to invest in their players, to invest in their infrastructures, so that they can just have the luxury of winning this trophy. So to me, as a coach or as a former player, it's quite a honor to me, because I'm looking at in the next 5 years, or maybe let me just say 10 years, I want to also coach in the Kenya Premier League, and definitely that trophy is a big motivator for me.
Okay. A lot of football fans are saying that yes, we have a gold trophy, but teams do not have a cabinet to put the trophy. What do you make of that? Because the people who are saying that probably that amount of money could have been used to support the teams and not used on that a single particular trophy. You've been there as a player. I'll want to get your take on what you make of that.
Well, an interesting one, because, well, first of all, clubs have the mandate to, not just depend on the federation, but also to put their structures right so that they can get some of the sponsors, some of the sponsorship, donors coming on board, so that they can have a regular, cash flow in terms of paying their players. So to me, the amount that has been used to get, to purchase this trophy, to me actually is nothing, because it just signifies our ambition as a league. Where do you want to be in the next 5 years? Do you want to be a lucrative league? If you look at maybe some other trophies in different leagues, they've cost maybe probably even $10,000, $20,000. But to me, I think $5,000 or maybe $50,000. To me, it's just it's a drop in the ocean. Looking at the potential that our league has in terms of growing and becoming even one of the best leagues in Eastern Central Africa and even in Africa. So to me, this is just one of the few steps that we are making, and it's the right direction, because the more expensive the league becomes, we are able to attract more huge sponsorship and even better players coming into a league.
Okay. A lot has been going on in the Kenya Premier League this season. Gor Mahia are not at the top of the table. I know that is an unfamiliar sight, considering they've dominated the play for quite a while. But Tusker and KCB have been superb this season. Already Tusker has been selected to represent the country in the CAF Champions League. I just wanted to get your take. I think they have a difference of around 1 or 2 points between each other. Just wanted to get your take on whether you think a lot is going to change between now and the end of the season.
If I look at the race, probably it's between KCB and Tusker at the moment. One thing that it's a characteristic for both of these teams. If you look at their management, they're being backed up by very good companies. You haven't had any problem or any issues with the playing unit in terms of salaries, allowances being paid, or maybe sacking of the coaches. And that alone, we've seen the consistency that both teams have put behind their management, behind their games, winning back-to-back matches, filling the same players, bringing in quality players that can help them achieve their dream. To me, the result they're registering currently is not a surprise, because it's been a working process. If you look at Gor Mahia on the other end, I think they've been registering mixed performances, winning matches, drawing matches, and losing players, very important players in their team, especially like their captain Muguno, who just left for Azam. I think it has disrupted their season as such, because the Gor Mahia that is currently playing is not the Gor Mahia that many people are used to, if you look at their position in the league. But I think the race now is between KCB and Tusker. Coach Matano going against Coach Zico, two very qualified coaches. Both they know each other well, and I think going into the last stages of the final lap of the league, is all about consistency, and it's all about whoever uses their chances gets the 3 points. I mean, stands a very good opportunity to carry this new trophy.
Okay. Okoth, just for the sake of security, I know my cameraman is an AFC Leopards fan. Just for the sake of not having our cameras switched off, I just wanted to get your take on AFC. Where do you see them finishing this particular season?
FC Leopards, again, another big giant. They should be performing better than they are doing right now. But again, if you look at the team that they have, a very young squad, probably again with a lot of experienced players as much as they are young, but quite a lot of, some time back, in-house drama. Their former captain, Kamura, being demoted from being the captain, then picking another captain, probably tells you that there might be something that's going on at the Den. But having said that, again, FC Leopards to me is a team that maybe very soon will probably cause the upset, because if you look at the chairman, as stated time and time again, their main agenda, their main goal is to try and go and win the league. And looking at the type of also signings that they made when the season started, I think they also did a lot of good signings. It's just that maybe the mental part, the preparation part wasn't that good, but bringing in again a new coach from Simba, very qualified, very good coach in terms of knowing the dynamics of our local league. Tells you that this is a club that maybe next season they stand a very good chance in terms of going also to maybe fight for the trophy. But this season, definitely a top 5 finish for FC Leopards to me. I think that would still be a good performance.
Okay. Interesting thing you've mentioned there at the beginning of the interview, the issue of appropriate or when players are paid on time. I think with Gor Mahia that has been a challenge for this particular season. But pundits out here or football fans out here are like, Gor Mahia is like one of the oldest clubs in our country. Yet in 2021 we are still talking about issues of Gor Mahia not being able to pay players, something that other younger teams that probably were born after Gor Mahia are able to manage at the moment. You've been a player at Gor Mahia in your heydays. What do you think is the problem at AFC, at Gor Mahia, I beg your pardon?
Well, not just at Gor Mahia alone, but most clubs locally. I think it all starts with the structures. Do we have our structures in place? Look at our clubs. A club like Gor Mahia to me is a club that not just in Kenya, but even in East Africa, and even in Africa, should be playing with the likes of Al Ahly, Zamalek, Wydad Casablanca, Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates, because this is a club that has the biggest following. Followed by, I think, Simba, arguably. And this is a club that should be having their own merchandise store, selling their own merchandise. This is a club that should be having their own stadium, their own training facility. This is a club that, if you look at even some of the players that they have, they should be selling, doing player transfers. But currently, if you look at the way they're doing business, I don't think they're really doing business right, because recently they let go one of their best players, Kenneth Muguna, leave to Azam on a free. And this is not just the only player. They've let the likes of Tuisenge, Kahata, Medi Kagere, all those very good players. In terms of cashing on them, they've let them go on a free. And if you look at most elite clubs or most developed clubs, one of the best ways, or maybe one of the avenues that clubs are using to make finances, or maybe to make money, is through player transfers, ticket sales, merchandise sales, just investing in other different avenues. And Gor Mahia, I think, to me, it's probably like a sleeping giant, because they don't know their potential. It's like they're sleeping on a gold mine. So the moment they get their structures right, put in a big merchandise store somewhere that will be booming, start selling their players, start selling tickets, and being also accountable for those tickets, and also for the income that is coming into the revenue that is coming into the clubs, they stand a very good chance to forget all these issues that they've been having. Because at the moment, to me, a club like Gor Mahia or maybe FC Leopards, those are not clubs that should be knocking on sponsors' doors. These are clubs that actually sponsors should be trickling at the door, should be knocking their door. It should be the other way around. But again, it's a working process. Hopefully, in the next few seasons, things will change.
Okay. Ronald, we won't complete the show without talking about your Sofapaka team. Just before we come back to Sofapaka, I just wanted to give you a few, some of the interesting facts that you did not know about the ongoing Tokyo Olympics in Japan. Now, Tokyo is the first city to host the Paralympic Games for the second time. The first time that they did that was in 1964. Now, in preparation for this year's Tokyo Olympics, Japan produced 5,000 Olympic medals from 78,895 tons of recycled electrical devices, which included digital cameras, laptop, handheld games, and a whopping 6.21 mobile phones donated by their citizen. Now, the other one that you need to understand about the Tokyo Olympics is the Tokyo Olympic 2020 torch is designed after the shape of a cherry blossom Japanese flower. That's why it's unique in its own way. Now, this is the second time the Olympics will be held in Tokyo, which previously hosted the games in 1964. The Tokyo Olympics is considered as a very prestigious event, which if a country holds it, there is an instant boom in terms of tourists coming to the country. So having Japan hosting the Olympics for the second time is a major Olympic boost. Although considering the fact that this year's competition is without the fans, which is a conversation that we are going to be having on another session on Metropol Sports Center. The final thing that you need to understand about the Tokyo Olympics is that the postponement of the games cost the International Olympic Committee a whopping $15.4 billion US dollars, 2.8 billion more than initially projected, to include an extra $900 million for pandemic counter measures. These pandemic countermeasures basically include testing kits, sanitizers, and a lot of facilities that are set to see that the activity or the competition is set in a safe environment. That wraps up the second part of the show. We are going to be taking a short commercial break. After the break, Ronald is still going to be with me here. We're going to be talking about Sofapaka, briefly about Sofapaka, and then talk about the performance of the Team Kenya at the Olympics, and also touch a little bit on the mental health conversation that has been doing rounds at the Olympics. See you after the break.